Recording in progress.
Good morning, guys. Well, Thomas is the only one who thinks it's a good morning. Okay. Well, you nodded. Nobody else nodded. Okay. Well, Walter's smiling and all. Okay. All right. We'll just wait for people to turn on their cameras and join us. Did you all get a chance to see my announcement on Canvas? You should also have got a notification email. Yeah? Okay. All right. So I'll carry on a conversation amongst yourself until 8:05. All right, we'll start at 8:05. Hopefully everybody's here at 8:05, and then I'll also go over the reason why I want to scale back the speed at which we're moving. Okay, so we want to make sure that everybody is with us, not just dropping people off here and there. So all right. Okay, so you guys carry on and converse, and you can ask Walter questions now too, and for 5 minutes, okay? And then we'll start in 5 minutes. Hey, Ken, is this your first class? I don't remember seeing you in a previous class. Were you here before on Tuesday? Can hear you. There's a few people that I don't recognize from a previous class. Nathan and Ken. Maybe they're in. Better look at the video. Go on, guys. I mean, have a conversation. It shouldn't be silent like this, because if it's silent, it means that nobody has any issues with any of the work they're doing. Okay, so.
Hey, I was wondering, did any of you guys get a full trophy score on eTalks?
I did.
I'm just gonna post it in the Reddit. I'm not sure.
Don't post your code.
No, I know. I mean, I wasn't gonna post the code, but I was gonna post like what like I thought was wrong. Whatever.
Let me look at my E2X solution. It's been a while since I've done it.
Everybody good? Oh, no. You still have a few more minutes. A couple of minutes more.
This is in quest 2, right, David?
Yeah, it's got a quest 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a feeling that I went wrong somewhere in like the actual like function I gave for the problem, and I tried a bunch of different variations, and when I'd switch it up, I'd submit it, and then I'd get like less trophies, and then like the original thing that I had got the most. But
Is it like when it gets stuff wrong, does it get like close to the right answer, but not quite the right answer?
Yeah, it got quite close. I was able to match
Okay.
up the first
I
number and then
have
the
a
rest.
guess. I have a guess as to what it might be.
Uh-huh.
And it's about like how math, like how it treats numbers when you take like when you tell it what to do with math. Um, did you make sure to include a double when you were doing the math? Because if you didn't, uh,
I included a double.
you included a double.
Yeah.
Like every time you were like dividing by anything, you included a double.
Yes. I do. Well. Oh. Do when I like when I put like when I state that it's like when I state the 5 terms and then I mention that it's a double, do I have to like mention that each individual like X is a double like inside of like the return? Or
Um, no, it's like the way that I would worry about it is you just have to make sure at some point down the line. Okay, so the place that it really matters is anytime you're dividing. Because if you
for sure.
divide and it's not a whole number and it's trying to put it into an integer, it's just gonna cut off the decimal.
For sure.
Um, and so without looking at your code or anything, from what you've told me, it sounds like there's a possibility that when you're calculating your e to x, um, you might be like dividing and getting rid of that decimal without knowing it.
I gotcha.
I don't know, just throwing that out there. Maybe
For sure. Thank you.
something to really remember anytime you're doing like math operations.
Sounds good.
Okay, all good. Is everybody should feel free to turn on their cameras. And yeah, some of your cameras are, you know, off. They're not looking at your face; they're looking at part of your face and the ceiling. So take a look and fix your cameras if you can. But we can start as soon as you guys are ready. Great, great. Okay, so we're not going to work on the game that we developed on Tuesday with Adam and Nemo. And I hope you all got a chance to look at my email. However, those who want to work on these things, just contact me. We'll make another, off-schedule lecture anytime. You guys are free. So, let's say 4 or 5 of you want to complete that game, make a time, to Wednesday, Thursday, whenever, and we'll get together another Zoom session, free lecture, okay? And we'll do that. And the reason I'm saying that is because I had a look at, I should take a look at these videos that we're uploading to our channel, because even I don't look at them, who's going to look at them? So hopefully students do look at them. But yesterday I took a look and I was kind of really taken aback by, this is supposed to be week 4, and we're doing stuff that could potentially just leave other students behind. And because this is a community college class, we have students that have span a wide range of expertise. And some students have actually done the Python series or a Java series, completed, right? So they know about linked lists, they know about tree balancing and things like that, and they've come back to do the C++ track. And other students who are, fresh out of school maybe, and beginners. So we can't risk the possibility that we're just working with the students who already know some of the stuff, and then lose the ones that don't. Because at the end of the day, this is not really a, high intensity boot camp, because Yeah, so we'll just do it the softer way. And today my plan really is to do something really simple, lots and lots of little simple things involving loops and structures. So what I'll do is, this is my plan, and you guys can tell me if that is not appropriate, or you want to go faster or slower or harder, or we can do all that. The only thing, and also the thing that I'm thinking about is that every time we get a student to code, it's only going to be a 5-minute job. Okay, so lots of students can come and code, and essentially we'll pick these little things, like, we'll start off with we're gonna, someone should take the screen and create a loop that will print off all the odd numbers. Okay, we'll just start with something very simple, just odd numbers, maybe just all even numbers. Okay, and then we'll, and the next person to come to take the screen might do the same thing with a small tweak. Okay, odd numbers, but skip every odd number that's a multiple of 5. Things like that. Okay, so we'll start injecting these little things, and so that lots and lots of people can come to come on screen and code and do these little things. And these will be small exercises. Okay, not dealing with functions calling other functions and loops within loops and things like that. And that I know, right? Because I put myself in the shoes of students who may be just beginning CS2A. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if I was in a class where things were going at that clip, and I joined 2A in order to just learn C++, I'm going to say, the hell with this class, screw them. I'm just going to go and try and learn on my own. There's a ton of videos on YouTube. So I could just read Michael Losif notes. They're free, and I could pick up all the material rather than come to Anand's class and, watch him and just some of the top students or experienced students. I don't believe in top students and bottom students. So some students who have already had some experience doing this stuff, and him alone do this stuff, and it's no fun. Okay, it's no fun for me as that student, so I don't want that to happen to anyone. Okay, so that's what we'll do. That is my plan for today. Now, that being said, this advanced, so some of the slightly more advanced, it's not really advanced stuff, right? We're just doing basic looping and games with looping, and the only thing we've really thrown in is time and random, right? Everything else is basic, but still it is advanced for some of the beginners. So if anyone wants to continue with those projects, I am super duper happy. Okay, so we can always create another, and we can also record them. And except that on the channel, I'll say that this is a optional extra recording with a group of students. Okay, I won't say it's 2A01, 2A02, because 2A, the numbers, I would prefer them to be in the right sequence for students to just basically, just before the final, if they say, oh, I don't know anything, I'm going to watch from lecture 1 to lecture 24. Okay, so they should still be able to follow that. And is that okay with you guys? Great. Okay. All right. So yeah, sorry, Nemo and Adam, we're not going to continue to work on that program, but we can, make a time. If you guys want to do it, make a time. We'll do another session, even later today or tomorrow. I can get on Zoom and then we can work through that. Okay. And it is a fun game. And later on class, okay, towards when we get to week 9 and week 10, everybody will be able to work on stuff like that. Every one of us, and everyone will be able to comfortably work with code that's 100 lines. Fixing, shifting things around, moving this loop from there to there. Everybody will be able to do that. So then we'll have a lot of opportunity to do these things. And also, if you go on to 2B, if you go on to 2B with me especially, we will have a chance to work on more interesting things also, like this in class. We will just continue and do these things. We'll pick more and more challenging projects. Although I don't know if you have time for that in 2B and 2C. Because 2B and 2C, 2B not so much, 2C certainly. You need all the time in the week to get past every little quest, I think. 2B, you have some easy quests. Okay, 2C, I don't think there are any easy quests. So you will need the entire week. So it'll be very hard for us to create projects like this, like we're doing in 2A, and say, hey, let's do this really cool thing in 2C, right? It's gonna, and the thing is, any 2C project you take is, even if it's a toy project, it's gonna be at least a week of coding. You can't let that interfere with your assignments and quests, because those actually count for grading. So that's why the scope for doing these things in 2B and 2C is less. But I should not, get carried away and saying, oh, I can do this in 2A. So let's just take it to the limit and, screw all the people that don't know the stuff yet. That is the worst thing a teacher can do, I think, because it's not very satisfying to a teacher at the end of the day. Because I was, after last class, I was thinking about it. I thought, it's really cool. Maybe we'll do this. And I was thinking about 100 different options to make that a more interesting and juicy game. And then all of a sudden, when I was walking, I had this wake up call saying, at the end of the day, we get this really cool game, but what's the point, right? 4 or 5 students in class would probably enjoy it or know how to put it together, but the vast majority of the class is gone. And so there's no fun. If only 2 people enjoy something, well, it's far less fun than if 100 people enjoy it. So, all right. So what I'd like is for, if one of you who has not, who is not strong, okay, and you should feel absolutely free to say that, this is 2A. I just joined 2A, man. You don't expect me to code these big programs. So we're going to code some simple programs today. Like, we're going to start with someone taking the screen and writing a simple program with no input from anyone else, and we're all just watching. And occasionally you can say, well, semicolon, or you can ask us, and we'll help out. But all you need to do is just pick up the screen and write a program that will print out the first 100 odd numbers. Okay. Let's just say print out the first 100 numbers. Okay. Just a loop to print out the first 100 numbers. Okay. Starting from 1 to 100, not 0 to 99, 1 to 100. So you got to print out. That's all, right? So we're talking about a 5-line program. But in the process of doing that, you'll get to exercise your mental muscles to put together the same thing over and over again. The main template, hash include, IOStream, using namespace, and so on. And because you're going to write like a 5,000 programs that are simple and small, but by the end, you'll automatically know what's going to come, right? So let's start with that. And if someone can pick up the screen, someone who's not gone, on screen before. So if they can pick up the screen, and again, we don't need a VS Code or Xcode at this point. We'll just do it in an online compiler, just online GDB, CPP, any one of those. All we need is one simple program to someone who this is the kind of person who should take the screen is the person who thinks they cannot do it. Okay, if you think you can do it, don't take the screen. Okay, only person who should take the screen, someone who's, oh, I can do it, but I'm a little antsy. I don't know. I mean, that is, people that are on the fence or, haven't got there yet. They're the people who should actually take the screen and code in front of all of us. Okay. So because we'll all be helping, and then we'll take that step by step, one step at a time, so that everybody's on board. We don't lose anyone. Losing, yeah. So we'll make sure that everybody is together all the way to the end. Okay, how about that? Hey, Ken, Ken and Nathan, I didn't see you. I haven't seen you guys before. Hey, everybody else on screen I've seen in previous classes. Is this the first class for both of you? Are you guys here? Kenneth and Nathan? All right. Well, apparently they're not here. Okay, how about someone else? I think Joshua had a chance. Caesar, Caesar, you may take the screen if you like. All right. Sadvik, you haven't gone either yet. You haven't. All right. Ashley, Leonardo, Darshna.
I haven't gone. I could try, though. You specified not to use Xcode. I've just been using Xcode.
Yeah. Today, don't worry about Xcode. We'll just go to. Hey, but Thomas, I remember you actually. You didn't code. You didn't code. Okay, you didn't code before. Great.
No, I think I did something with the binary, but not even. I think it was actually Adam who was sharing the screen. So
okay, all right. Also, the other thing I want to mention, while Thomas is getting ready, the other thing I want to mention is that if you feel that this stuff is too basic and it's too simple for you, you have two options. You can either let me know. If everybody says this is too simple, we'll just go on to the next level. The other option is that you can hold on and not volunteer now, so that you can take the chance to volunteer when we're doing some really, some more involved stuff, after we start using classes and objects and methods and so on. You'll have a much more exciting opportunity to, so you'll waste your opportunity to code if you already have a, some experience, or if you've already done Java and Python and you've come to do C++ last. Okay. Yeah, strangely enough, I always recommend to all of my students, do Java and Python last. Okay. You should do C++ first, because C++ is a hard language. And I know I should take that back. Okay. Maybe I should go back and rewind the video and erase that. C++ is not a hard language. Every language is hard when you have to master it completely. But however, what C++ does is take the hard bit of the language and put it up front, so that you can't learn the easy parts of the language until you get past it. It's basically front loaded. Okay, all of the hard stuff in C++ is front loaded. Whereas Java, Python, you can do a whole lot of shit. Okay, you can do crazy things in these languages without having to really know. So you see, the hard part comes later in those languages, where you have to actually tunnel into the brain of the computer to say, wow, okay, that's really what's going on when I manipulate this tree, right? And you get that experience right up front in C++. And when you're dealing with trees, that's all easy for you. But whereas in Java and Python, dealing with those structures is harder. But you still have to master them, right? You can't say you're a master of Java or Python or any language for that matter, unless you've mastered computer science itself. You know how these bits and bytes are shuffled around, and so the advantage of C++ is that gets it out of the way for you. Okay, it'll be hard, and for that reason, a lot of students say, "Well, I won't do C++ now. Let me do Java and Python. Come back to C." But I think it's better, because once you have C++ under your belt, Java and Python will be so much easier for you, okay? And any other language will be easier, because you'll be thinking like a computer. Because you'll know, right? So the bits and bytes and how transistors work, and not how transistors work, but how bits are manipulated using these simple circuits. Okay. So whenever you're ready, Thomas, unless you,
I am. No, I am ready. So I had my screen connected to my iPad. This is a new computer though, so it's asking me to allow Zoom to. But it's not letting me actually click Zoom. Like, it shows the icon, but it's like whited out. Like, it won't let me actually allow it. So
yeah, you have to click the lock in the bottom corner.
Oh yeah, use password.
Yeah.
Wait. Perfect. Okay. Okay, it's gonna have me leave the meeting because I have to leave Zoom in order to do this.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
was
have
gonna
to
say you
quit
probably
and
had to
reconnect.
close the app.
No worries.
first.
Yeah. You know what, Zoom, over the last week or so, maybe a couple of weeks, Zoom is kicking the fan on in my on my Mac, and it didn't used to happen before. So I don't know.
This has probably been a thing for a while, like that you'd have to close the app in order to change some setting. Either way, I'm gonna leave and come right back, because either way, whether it's now or for the future, I'm gonna have to share my screen.
And while Thomas is, while Thomas is getting ready, he's going to leave and come back. Someone else should decide who's going to go after him, because he's only going to be programming for 5 or 10 minutes. This is a very simple program, right? So I'd like someone else to program after Thomas. We'll take Thomas's program. Essentially, we won't take his program, but we'll take when the next person comes, they'll just have to reproduce what Thomas did from a blank slate. And then we'll add one more bell or whistle to it, right? Saying, okay, well, let's try and do this. So that's how we'll do, right? 5 minutes each person, and then every person will get a chance to do exactly the same thing with a little bit more added. I think we'll try that out. I've never tried that before. If that works out, that's fantastic. Okay, and let me actually call out to the students who are here, who I can't see now, to make sure that they're here, so that and also check if they can take the screen today. Okay, Joshua, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Andrew, are you here? Andrew, Andrew disappeared as soon as I called his name. All right, okay.
I can
Hi.
I can see Andrew on my screen. Like,
Oh, you can? How come I can't see Andrew and he's not even, I don't even have that, the scroll, the panning button in Zoom. Okay. Andrew, you're here.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
He's in a car.
Car or something. Are you
Yeah, sorry
driving?
about that. Not really in a workable place at the moment. Sorry.
And you're driving too, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah. All right. So no way you can code.
Sorry about that.
Next time. What about
gotcha.
I don't know. Who else? Wait a sec. Wait, yeah, Thomas, just one sec. Okay, let me just do a quick roll call kind of thing here. Who else? Caesar, are you here today? Caesar, are you here? No? Okay. Alexis, are you here?
I am, yes.
Great, okay. Philip?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, who else? There's only Nathan and Kenneth who didn't answer before. Let me try one more time. Nathan, are you here? Nathan? All right, Kenneth?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, okay. Hey, Leonardo, I missed you. Okay, are you able to take the screen today and all? Right, all of you guys, right? This is going to be very, very simple programs, very simple programs. All you need to do is be able to fire up a browser. That's all. Okay, and we'll talk to you through every single step later today. Yeah. Okay. Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Go for it. Go for it, Thomas, and take the screen. And all we need to do is just write a program that will print out the first 100 numbers. Hey, Darshna, I didn't ask you. Are you able to code today? Just a small program, just a very small program. Excellent. Thanks. I'm going to reduce my, screen, not screen size, my gallery size now, so I can see more of the screen. Okay, I'm not going to talk at all. However, you guys can talk to each other. The students can call out. Walter and I will not say anything. We're just going to be watching. But you guys can help out Thomas if he's asking you questions. So all we need to do is you're going to write, and think of this as a mini exam or a mini quiz or a mini midterm. Okay, your task, your question is write a program that will print the first 100 numbers on first 100 natural numbers. Okay, natural numbers meaning they start at 1. No, natural numbers start at 0. The whole numbers. Okay, let's say whole numbers. Okay, whole numbers start at 1. So first 100 whole numbers need to be printed. And let's also print them on a line with a comma after each one, and then a new line after 100. Okay. Now, while Thomas is doing this, everybody, anyone who is unsure of what he's doing, you should just ask. Okay, just you can button and ask, hey, okay, why did you do that, or what is that, and so on. Feel free to ask.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it in terms of syntax, does it matter? Like, do you need to put a space in between the include input output stream and then using namespace, or can those just be butted up, right?
Yeah, totally. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
We just do it for aesthetic reasons. Mainly, it's just like, when we program, we just write it like an English essay. If in English, when you send an essay in and it's all one monolithic big paragraph, she's gonna send it back, right? Say, hey, break it up, and so that's what we're doing.
So I realized I was muted. Yeah, I actually was gonna say I usually do that. But yeah, if anyone has any aesthetic reservations, I mean, go say it. It doesn't.
Yeah, I honestly don't care. I was just wondering if that was something that
Yeah, in the modules, I think it specifies some, but I think the modules are a little bit more pedantic than you are, and with how.
What's the range again for the program?
Like,
the range of numbers.
I think we're going from 1 to 100.
Maybe we should just put a comment of that. Just
Great.
put comments so that we don't forget.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it before the. So is 1 to 100. I'm gonna put including, we're gonna include 100. Yeah, good. So main, I just put main. This is, I put my brackets like that. I think it looks better, but again, might be a reservation someone else has. So I'm going to just use num for this. That's going to be my variable. So I think I'll do, sorry, I'm like, have like two screens, so I'm like looking back and forth. So I'm going to do 4, because we're going to use a for loop. I'm going to say num at first is going to be 1, because that's where we're starting. And then I'm going to use a semicolon. As long as our number is less than or equal to 100, we're going to continue using this for loop. And each time I'm going to add 1, because we want it to include all numbers. So it's going to be num plus 1.
You can
Yeah,
do
those semicolons
num
are there.
plus plus, and it does the same thing.
Oh, true. Yeah. That would do the same thing. Plus plus. Like that, right? Yeah. Great. Okay, then I'm gonna do cout. And sorry, you said we want to separate each number by a comma. So we could do num. Oh, yeah, okay. In my head, it would be like number. We could do this, but I think what this would do would be, if I did endl here, it would go number, comma, then next line number, and we don't want that. So if I just did a semicolon there, then that should get me what I want. I don't know that I need to do return 0 here. We could, but actually don't know that that's necessary. I'm gonna try it. Great. Oh, there's an ending comma right there. Yeah, that I don't know that.
Just delete the space and put a space in front of the comma.
Delete the what? Delete the space here in front of the comma.
Delete that space.
Yep.
And then put a space in front of it. On the right side.
In here?
No, like in the
Like in the quotes.
commas.
Like that?
Quotes, yeah.
Okay, wait, I had a space in front of the comma though. That's what I just deleted.
Can I?
It's the other way around.
Isn't the cout and return
Oh,
supposed
I
to
see what
be
you're
inside?
saying. I see what you're saying, like this. So yeah, like that. And then I like that. Now comma space. That's what you're saying.
No.
Well, that would, yeah, because that would print
You
out
had
a
it right
comma before
before.
the very first.
It should
Okay.
be num, comma, then
Oh,
L,
yeah.
right?
So
I typed it in
yes.
chat.
Oh, I don't know that I can go here. I don't know that I can see the chat.
Isn't the cout and return supposed to be inside of open brackets and close brackets?
So it could be, but I don't think you have to put it within brackets, because there's not multiple things that you're doing within the for loop. You're just telling it one thing to return cout.
Oh, I see.
I could try to use brackets, but I think it'll be maybe a little redundant. But we could, it'll probably give us the same thing. Okay, there's no comma here, so it's just gonna be all the numbers. Oh.
That would cause problems because you're
I'm just gonna do
returning
that.
0 in for loop, which ends the program.
Oh yeah.
Just put it outside the for loop. And look in the chat.
No, I know that
No.
I saw that you saw it, but when I click chat on here, oh wait, the far one away. Chat. I think while you're
If you
sharing
want to
screen,
have commas.
yeah. So the brackets were redundant. Sorry, what'd you say about the commas?
Well,
So I can't. So
I
I
didn't say
can't see
anything
the
about the
chat on my.
comments.
Oh, sorry. I thought I said something. I can't see the chat while I'm sharing my screen. Or at least I don't know how to. So just dictate to me the thing you want me to do. So I have C out and then num, and we want there to be a comma between one, like after
Yeah,
one and
so-
before 100, but not before 100.
You
Or
know
but
what
not after.
MDL is?
We do a if
Yeah.
else statement within like the for loop. So if num is equal like from 1 to 99, as a C out is num and comma and else is
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So so here, like if num is, sorry, so if num is less than 99, num, and then this would be
You should just do less than
comma.
100.
Less than 100. 100, yeah. Right.
I would
Okay,
recommend
and then-
you don't need the if statement.
Mhm.
Unless if you're gonna like do something else with it, but delete the
Okay.
space in front of it so that
Let's take-
like,
let's- yeah.
there's like in front of the, you know, in the quotation marks, delete
Mhm.
that space and put a space in front of it. I think it would look better.
Okay, so I
Like,
just
on
deleted
the
the
right
space
side.
in the quotation
Yeah,
here.
and then put
Delete
a
the
space on
space.
the right side of the quote. I mean the comma.
Like that.
Yeah, like that.
This is, I'm pretty sure that this is still going to give me a comma after 100. Like, this is what I'm trying to get rid of here.
Yeah,
You see where I'm
so I
highlighting?
guess the
Yeah.
if statement would work. If
So I think we do need probably an if statement.
maybe you could limit
How
the
about
for loop
this?
only 99. And then print the 100.
So do the C out num and do that, and then put an if statement without the comma in it.
Okay.
Where
Is that
if
what you were
it's equal
saying?
to 100, where if it's equal to 100, it would not create the comma.
Yeah. So I think
But
think I
that's
know what you're saying.
afterwards. It'll just print
So
out
you-
num and without the comma. Just do the if statement afterwards.
like outside the for loop.
Like if this is 100, and then
Yeah.
it would do, if it's less than 100, it would do that and then do an else statement without the comma. How about that?
Yeah, I think that is what we're doing here. So if num is or less than 100, do C out num with the comma, and then else if, I don't know why the indentation's probably important. Probably, I don't know. Else if num is equal to 100, C out num. Let's try this.
Just
Wonderful.
for like code like conciseness, you wouldn't need the if num equals 100 after the else, because the else is just the like, it's just
Right.
the other case, unless in the else there's more specific cases.
Yeah, it might be a little pedantic. Okay, here, let's try without, just to make sure.
Like you don't even need the
Um,
if actually. You can take the if
Oh, just
and the
else.
parentheses out. Yeah, just
It
else.
just needs else.
Nice. Cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Can you fix up the indentation before you before the next person takes, you know, but by the way, everybody should look at this and
The
remember, because
indentation or the annotation?
oh no,
What'd you say,
if-
the indentation?
The if statement is not, yeah, you could the C out needs to be part of the if. The C out belongs to the if so that it hangs off the if. And then the other cout you have also belongs to the else, so it has to hang off the else. So
Okay,
push
so
the
it should be
in.
shifted like this,
No, that side.
pushed in.
Yeah. Right, else
There we
also.
go. Okay.
Right now,
Oh, else. Like that?
yeah.
You're saying that's
No.
okay.
You had the way you had it
Oh.
before was fine. Yeah, the else needs to go back. Else needs to go back. The else, yeah, there you go. That is the one of the standard formattings that many people like. Okay. Now this is cool. Now, thank you, Thomas. Okay. Now the next person to take the screen has got don't. I want to keep your code on screen for a little while longer.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. All right. So yeah, please take a look at this code, because the next person to take the screen is going to do this exact thing, and then one more thing after that. Okay. And we'll do it exactly like that. Every time the person who takes the screen has got to do this, and then one more thing. Now, however, I need to wait a sec. Yeah, we can make we'll make some minor cosmetic tweaks later. Yeah, this is good. Okay, this is perfectly fine. Just to give you an idea of what we can do. You don't have to, but the number of aesthetic options available to you, will look at all of them so that you can pick and choose. And again, we talked about aesthetics and all before. One of the good ways of finding a good aesthetic pattern that works for you and you like is really just go to Stack Overflow or any of these public sites or Git and look at lots of code. Okay, you don't have to understand the code. You don't have to understand the code that people have written in C++. Just look at lots of code, because you'll find that lots of really, really good programmers, they have over years, they've developed a very good sense of aesthetics. Okay, and so just by looking at them repeatedly, you'll develop your own sense, I think. All right. And so yeah, so there's what I mean is I shouldn't be telling you because my aesthetic sense may not be yours, and you've got to discover yours, and you go and find out. At least that's what the music teachers in India say, right? So after they teach you a particular song, they say you now have to listen to this by hundreds and hundreds of people, because otherwise you're going to sing it exactly the same way I do, right? So you got to keep listening, and then your listening gets sharper, and then you learn to distinguish these microtonal things and say, well, all right, I'm going to use that there. And so it's just the same way with programming too. Lots of things that we do now, we don't even notice. But after 5 years, you go and look at your program, you'll say, well, how come I didn't notice that, thing there? That is really cool. Now, so the next person to take the screen after Thomas, I would like if they do the same thing as what Thomas has done, except, well, before he, I want to see, yeah, okay. All right. So here's let's say this is a challenge for the next person. Okay. You've got to try and do this without using an if statement. Okay. Without using an if statement. Same thing was the same thing that Thomas did without using an if statement. Basically what that means is you'll hear this term called refactoring. Okay. Refactoring is the same as in math. Okay. You got, if you factor an expression in mathematics, you don't change the value. Yes. You just, you're just shuffling terms around so that, eventually the same value computes, but it just looks different. Refactoring. Yeah. Computer programming, just like that's why they call it refactoring. The program, you're not going to change the logic of the program. You're not going to change anything about the program, but it's been refactored, meaning things have just been shuffled around to look better. Okay. Or, understand better or run more efficiently, but the end result is going to be the same. So we'll do a little bit of refactoring there. Essentially, the number 100, we could make that a constant integer 100, something you've not done before. Constant integer, and I'll tell you, that's what is called a const in C++, which we are encouraged to use, right? Because in C, I don't think the const specifier was there. C++ const is there, and it takes the place of something we used to do in C, right? In C, we used to do something like a hash define before to define constants. Really messy way to do this. Const in C++ is an elegant and beautiful way to overcome that, so we'll do that, right? The 100 should really be a const. And then everywhere you use a const label, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, as you're coding this, the next person. So we'll make that small change, and then after you've done what Thomas has done, we'll say, well, you know what? All right, now, oh yeah, no, the next person challenge is just to do it without a for loop, without an if statement. Okay, without an if statement, and the one after that, one more small challenge, and then remind me, because at some point today, we also want to do an experiment to test the difference between I++ and ++I. Okay, two different things, right? But in a for loop, they look exactly the same and they do behave exactly the same too. You won't be able to tell the difference between the two in a for loop, but they're actually different statements, I++ and ++I. And we can do a small experiment to find out what the difference is. Once you find out what the difference is, you'll know exactly where to use it every time. Okay, so we'll do a small experiment to find out what it is, and that'll be person number 3 or 4. Okay, so next person to take the screen. Then thank you, Thomas. Okay, now we won't see Thomas's code anymore. Okay, it's gone off now. The next person to come on screen has got to remember it and type it out from scratch. Okay, so who would like to take the screen now? I think Joshua, you have taken the screen and coded before, right? I keep asking you this question again. No, you haven't?
No, I haven't.
Well, you want to take the screen now and do the next part?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. So Joshua's challenge is to do what Thomas did, which is to print the numbers from 1 to 100 with a comma after the after every number except 100, but do it without using an if statement. Okay, without using an if statement. Great. Yeah, everybody following along, okay? It shouldn't only be me and the person that's actively coding. I know all of you are watching and helping out too, but I want to make sure nobody's left out, right? Is everybody following along? Some of you are, I know for sure, but I want to make sure. The thing is, I can't tell. But at least in Zoom, I can see a whole lot of you, okay? In class, when I used to teach face-to-face on campus, I can only see the first 5 people in the first row. And behind in row 2 and all the way to the back, I don't even know what they're doing, right? I mean, sometimes I used to walk back and forth when I lectured, and I watched and I looked at some of the screens in the back. They were watching YouTube and stuff like that. Okay, so they weren't even paying attention in class. So at least in here in Zoom, that's why I love this. Remote teaching has been so much better for me than face-to-face. Is now I can actually interact with you and watch all of you as though you're all sitting in the front bench, and so that is really cool. Hey, Joshua, and before you do that, let's do that small aesthetic tweak that I was talking about, so that it's we can fold it in right away. So the thing that I was talking about was 100 is what is called a magic number. Okay, not 100 per se. Any number that you use literally, like 100, 45, 77, right? Any number that you punch in as numbers is called a magic number, because in a program, someone else who's going to read that program after you, maybe 5 years down, they'll say, why 77? Why not 55? Why not 83? Right? So that number is magic. I don't have any reason. Something that happens without any reason is magic, isn't it? Right? Because if you have a reason for it, then it's science. If you don't have a reason, it's magic. Isn't that true? Yeah, well, or at least we say we don't know the reason. Okay, we don't know the reason. But if there's no reason at all, then we say it's magic because it just happened. And so in programs, when other programmers encounter things in you that they can't figure out, they don't know why did they do it? There's no reason. Why did they put 100 there? Right? That means it's magic. It's a magic number, and and even though experienced programmers can figure out why you used 100 and all, it'll take them 10 microseconds or 10 milliseconds of some kind of brain cycles. And even though many people don't notice those micro jogs in your mind as you're racing towards a solution, when you're experienced enough, you'll feel those. Okay, it's like you're going fast, but you just went over a speed bump. Okay, it doesn't stop you from going forward, but you'll feel it. Yes. Okay, so that feeling, you'll feel that. So it is helpful to program in such a way that when you are experienced, you can read your own code at high speed without having to pause to think about micro decisions and say, hey, well, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? That slows your experience down. Okay, so so the thing we want to do is go to the end of line 5 and hit enter. And then Also, we want to have always a blank space like paragraphs, okay? Declaration part and then the logic part. So that blank space should always be there. So what we want to type there is const, C-O-N-S-T. No. We're still in the declaration part. We haven't gone to the logic part yet. Yeah. Const space, int space, num, uppercase, all uppercase, num underscore ints, num underscore ints, all uppercase. Ints, I-N-T-S. Oh, no, all uppercase. Equals, space equals, no, space equals. No, right there. We haven't. So const, when we say const, it'll the compiler expects us to give it a value also, right? Equals 100. Semicolon, enter. Now you can change that 100 on line 8 to num ints. Okay, now is everybody in agreement with me that this is slightly more readable than the version that had 100 in there? Yeah. Because it doesn't have to be num ints. It could be something else, num trials, or num stars, num camels, whatever it is, right? But it has some meaning to it, and injecting meaning like that is a way to make sure that you grease your wheels as you're cruising the highway. All right, cool. All right, so go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you any more than that. So.
So if we're not using if else statement, should we like just output 1 to 99 in the for loop and another cout outside the for loop to?
That would definitely work. That would definitely work. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that would work. And you can also do it the other way, right? You can put the first number and then the rest in the loop, or you can print all the numbers and then the last number. So either way you can do it. Is everybody following along? And also, everybody understand what Joshua said, what he was going to do? It's always useful to understand what is going to happen before you actually see it happen, because then things will fall into place.
So does everyone agree with this?
I don't think you necessarily need the NL there, but you can keep it, I guess.
Oh, why did you say no? An NL was optional, by the way. I didn't quite get that.
I don't know. You're just returning 0 after that. You're just ending the program after that.
I see. But yeah, but even if you're ending the program, if you need a new line at the end, we have to print it, because otherwise what happens is that it'll run the program, no new line, and the command prompt appears right there. You won't see it in a GUI, right? When you're working in Windows or a Windows environment, you won't see it, but you're running it in a command line, you'll actually see it. In fact, we can find out, get rid of the NL and we'll run it and see what happens. All right, okay. Oh, you got import. Well, how come you got import? Are you a Python programmer?
Oh,
it's funny. It's so funny. You said import. No, wait a sec. You said import, and it actually works. And it only says it's a warning.
It's online GDB.
And it says deprecated, a deprecated GCC instruction. Wow. Okay, so that means import did exist in C++ at some point. And I wasn't aware of it because I've been programming in C++. I've been programming in C, right? So I used to program in C and then, learn C++. And all my life, I've never used the word import until Python, right? Python is import. And here he used import and it actually worked. And it said, it is deprecated, which means it must have been part of the C++ at some point. Wow. Okay. Now, your stream. All right. So great. Now, yeah. So here the thing is, we don't see the effect because it's being run by inside of a browser. But however, if you copy this code and go to a terminal, is this a Mac, by the way? This is a Mac or a Windows machine?
Windows.
So we just need to go to a terminal and compile it and run it by hand. You'll see what I mean. Is there an online environment that gives you a terminal to go to? I think there was one called coding rooms. Try open a tab and go to codingrooms.com. We used it several quarters ago, and I remember there was a terminal in there, right? Codingrooms.com. Did you get it?
I think perhaps I need to download the.
No. It's a URL. Just codingrooms.com. No, it doesn't work.
No, I think it asked me to log in or sign up something.
Oh, I see. They made it login now. Oh yeah, try repl.it, repl.it, repl.it. There's another one we used. I think there was a terminal there.
It's what?
repl.it.
It also asks for sign up.
Wow, all of these guys are now, not taking back their free offerings. Well, okay, I'm gonna.
I was transcribing the stuff in
Windows terminal.
VS Code. I could run it through the terminal. I could stream the terminal.
Yeah. Okay, David. Yeah. Well, and so that's in fact that's what we'll do. Right. So, Joshua, get your code back. We'll just look at it one more time, and then we'll pass the screen on to David, who's not coded before. David, you haven't coded on screen before, right?
I have.
So you
I did last week.
Oh, you did.
But I mean, I could run the terminal. I mean, show.
Okay. Well, unless the next person who to code also has a Mac or can do a terminal. What about Robert? Robert, you haven't coded before, right? On screen?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Do you have a Mac or a
screen,
PC?
but I have a PC. I do have a computer that has the IDE set up, but it's not the computer I'm using right now.
I see. Hey, no worries. How about Darshana? Darshana, do you have a Mac or a PC?
I have a Mac.
You have a Mac? Yeah, well, okay. Would you mind being the next person to code? And then you need to take that Joshua's code to the next level. One small tweak, one very small tweak. But in the process of doing that, we'll also run this code without the endl on terminal to see what happens.
I don't have the IDE set up on my Mac.
No IDE. You just need to go to a private window, private Chrome or Safari window, right?
Okay.
Private Chrome or Safari window.
Sure. 1 second.
In fact,
I can't share until someone stops sharing.
Yeah. Joshua, yeah, good. You know what? I think Well, anyway, after Darshana starts sharing her screen, I was going to say something and I forgot. Okay, all right. Oh, you already typed it in? How did you get this code so quickly, Darshana? Did you just type it in really quickly, or did you copy
I
and
was
paste
following
from?
along. I was just following along.
Oh, I see. So you already had it already when. All right, cool. That's great. Just fix up the indentation and all, and then we can take it from there. Okay. We need a blank line after const the declaration part. Blank line after the indentation. After the const line. Yeah, enter there, and then push the for statement in by 4. And then the cout also. And then the brace, the closing brace belongs to the 4. But the second cout doesn't belong to the 4. Okay, get rid of the blank line after, yeah, there. Before return. Yeah, and get rid of the blank line before return. Okay, now, yeah, just make sure it runs. Click the run button, make sure it runs, and it and does the right thing and all, and then we can take. All right, so it works and it does the right thing so far. That's good. So the one thing that I wanted to, well, so here's what Darshana is going to do. What we want to do is now print the numbers out like a matrix. Okay, only 10 numbers on each row. So it's going to got 10 rows. Okay, it's going to print 10 rows with 10 numbers on each row. So 1 to 9, or 1 to 10, 11 to 19, right? 21 to. So that's what Darshana is. Does that sound like a reasonable next step? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're all going to do it together, but I think that should be fun. And so that is what Darshana is going to try and do now.
I have a quick question. In this one, the I guess there was no logic for the comma at the end after the 100. So what is the part of this working program that is correctly sort of like that is keeping the formatting correctly such that after the 100 there is no comma?
Yeah, great question. Okay, great question. And does anybody want to answer that, or I can answer that? So, what Samir is asking. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I can just, since it was my mistake, because I also struggled with this. I can try to explain it to you. So you see within the brackets of the for loop, you're saying as long as num is less than 100, because num underscore int is equal to 100. So you're saying as long as it's less than 100, the number that's in the for loop is less than 100, you're going to output through the cout num and then the comma, and then the ensuing number is going to follow the comma, right? That will all happen as long as that number is less than 100. So all those numbers, 41, 42, 43, you see, have a comma following it. But once that number goes, yeah, exactly. Once you leave the brackets. Yep.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Okay. Yeah, very nice explanation. And everybody clear so far? Yeah. Okay. Good. So now what Darshana is going to try and do is to basically make sure that every number is, there's only 10 of those, and in order to do that, in order to break up the lines by 10, 10 numbers in each line, let's introduce one more constant on. So go to the end of line 16, hit enter. Yeah, and then you want to say const int num ints per line, Great. Okay. And by the way, the convention that we're using here is, consts are all uppercase, It's a common convention. Not all programmers use it. I use it. Okay, it's a common convention because when later on when you're scanning a program, when you see something all uppercase, you know automatically nobody's going to try and mess with it. Okay, it's constant. So because if it's not uppercase, then 0.01% of your brain now needs to be set apart. It can't focus on the issue because that now is dedicated to watching that variable. But if it's const, you can let go of it and be 100% free. So these are things, little things that we, right? And that's 10. Well, let's say it's 10 numbers per line. Okay. You don't have a constraint now saying you have to do it without if statements. You can feel free to use if statements. And the next person after Darshana, what we'll do, we'll take the same thing and also make sure that we introduce one more new thing, right? We'll introduce the formatting, saying that I want to print the numbers 10 per line, but each number should also occupy six spaces so that the numbers are all lined up also like this. Okay, so we'll try that next after Darshana is done.
Do I divide the two constants to make the matrix? Or
No, you don't have to, but you absolutely can divide and then do two nested for loops and things like that. But there is an easier way to do that without having to divide and without having to have nested for loops. Eventually we will actually zero in on that easier method, and you will be writing that automatically. But yeah, certainly do it if you want. If you want, follow your logic and just explain your logic as you go along, so that fellow students and I could just step in and say, if there's some tweaks that need to happen, we can step in. So as long as you talk your logic through as you explain it, one of us will make sure that we're all together.
Just to be clear, I'm trying to make the matrix of 10 numbers from and then go from 1 to 100.
Yes. And you want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next line, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? Next line. Each thing starts on the next line. Interesting problem, isn't it? It's interesting because it's a very small tweak that actually requires some kind of figuring out to see how are you going to do it. And the reason it's cool is because there's many ways to do it, right? If there's only one way to solve a problem, it's not usually an interesting problem. Okay, but if there's many ways to solve a problem, it is bound to be interesting far longer than a problem that only has one, because people will figure out, okay, well, I can solve it this way, but there must be another way, right? So they try and solve the same thing in different ways, and it improves the perspective, right? Because then you can get a 360 view of anything, because otherwise you only get one view. Yes, this is a famous joke, and I think I've told this in CS2A before. What was it? A scientist. People traveling in a train, and in the distance they see a farm, okay, and they see a black sheep in the farm, and one of them turns to the other person in the train and says, hey, there are some black sheep in this farm, and then that person says, no, that what you said is wrong. Empirical evidence says there's only one black sheep. There's at least one black sheep. Okay, not there are some. There's at least one black sheep. But then there is a scientist in the carriage also, and says, no, you're both wrong. The only thing we can say is that there's at least one side of one sheep that is black. Okay, so and that way, I don't know how we got started talking about that, but maybe it's related to this in some way. Go ahead, guys. I mean, yeah,
one thing I was thinking you could do is have some sort of logic to find out whether you need a line break, and then the else is the part that just prints the numbers regularly. So in this one, I was thinking you could probably make use of mod to see if, because you would have to divide it after 10 numbers. So at whenever the number whenever num is mod 10 has a remainder of 0, then that would mean that the number is I guess like then we have like our 10 that we're looking for, and you could introduce a line break and then start the next number on the next line.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think that's kind of what you might have been saying in a way. How do you pronounce your name? Darshana?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say if you use mod though, after you try 0, you could try using 1, because 0, I think the first line you might get 9 numbers, and then the next line you might get 10 numbers.
Also start
but
the loop with 0.
No, I meant for the mod.
Oh, sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, so Samir is saying to try 0. So once, yeah, so you're dividing by 10, you're looking for the remainder. So there, if you go equals 0, and then introduce a line break after that. After you divide by 10 and get like a division without a remainder, you're going to introduce a line break. I'm saying you could try that, but you could also try 1 instead. And I think that should give you a more equal division of numbers. But try both by all means.
You might also want to use the constant in the place of 10.
Oh,
that minutes per line.
So the tricky thing here is that you guys, when we're starting with num at 1 for the for loop, that means we're going to need to look for when it's equal to 1 if we want 10 in the first line. Otherwise, we're only going to get right. Isn't that the case?
I think that's what Thomas was saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you could change that to a 1.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what I was saying.
Okay, so and then is there like a specific function I should use to make the matrix, or should I just do the C out and then add a bracket?
I think you could just do C out and then add like the dash n, because that should create a new line. Yeah.
Or should I do it until?
So right now, what it would be doing, I think, would be putting the number and then open bracket.
Oh, I can do. Wait, should I do the open bracket, then do the C out, and then do close bracket?
Are we doing bracketing as a part of this, like the formatting of this? Or are we just putting the numbers in the rows?
Oh, can we just do the numbers then?
I don't know what the like specifications were.
That was my understanding. Oh, are you trying to do like each like row of 10 is bracketed in? I thought it was just like
no. Yeah, no. Let's not do brackets now.
Oh, okay, then
Okay.
never mind.
Yeah, I think if you just do the new line, that should be enough. Because in the next line you're printing out the numbers, I'm pretty sure. So if you just create a new line.
Well, actually, I think you do need the numbers here, because this one is testing for the mod, so you're gonna miss that number if you don't. Or
okay.
So
right now,
there's a couple things that we should change. First is this is just gonna print a new line at the start. And we might want to change it so that the if statement is equal to 0 instead of 1. So that when it gets to the end of every group of 10, it'll
the-
do an inline.
The issue
And
with that
then-
is that we only get 9 numbers in the first row.
Right.
Go with 0.
Yeah. No, I think it should be 1. No, I agree with Nemo. If you have, or sorry, it should be 1. If you have 0, it's gonna just go up to 9, and then 10 is gonna be in the second line.
You could probably add like an and logical operator here, and you could just say like at the end of the num mod num ins per line equal 1. You could then say like and num not equal 1, because you're just testing the mod here, but you're not testing the first line. So then that would skip the first new line.
I think there's a good, like, the normal convention for iterators is to start at 0, and especially since we're also going to less than the number of ints, that means we're only going up to 99, even though we want 100. So if we're going from 1 to 99, that means we only get 99 integers. So we're gonna it's better to start at 0, and then just do +1 to num when we're printing it out.
Wait,
So-
I'm a bit confused why the line will stop at 9, because I think 10 mod 10 is 0, and when it switches 10 the num and then end line.
Yeah.
So
So if you do 0, then it's gonna do the first one. It's gonna do an end line, and then it's gonna go.
No, it's not, because it's at 1. It starts at 1.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's not gonna do an end line. But
Right now, it's gonna start and do an end line.
No, okay, but it's gonna print 0. It's gonna print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then only at 10. After 10, it then or before 10, it then does the line break. So we only go to the 9th integer.
I think the line break is after 10, right?
No.
Yeah,
because
the
we
new
have
line.
The new. All right. Yeah. Good.
I say just run the program.
That's a good
First.
call.
One thing I might change is in our if statement, I might change that end L to a
Yeah, it should be a
string.
0. It prints out 21 and 11.
Now it's going.
Prints out the next one.
It's.
Yeah, because we print the number twice in the condition that
what
it's
is it-
equal to 1.
what is it string again? It's gonna be-
Yeah, can you
So
wait?
should
Can we
make it an
try?
else. Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say?
Just try
So in
0.
between the 2 print statements, you
Make
just
it
put an
equal to
else right there.
0.
Oh, oops. And then, wait, I'll try this first. Oh, shoot.
Okay, so now it's only printing the 10th number. Oh, we're printing the number twice.
Make it
You're
equal to
printing it when
0.
you're adding
Make it
the
equal
comma.
to 0.
So
No,
the
no.
reason it's printing an extra
Num
10th
ins per
number
line
is
should be
because
equal to 0.
the reason it's printing an extra
That's
10th
the
number.
culprit.
It's
Now
printing an
just
extra
run
10th
it.
number because we have we're telling
You
it to
guys are
print an
talking
extra
at the
number. in
same
the
time.
Just run it.
Okay, fine.
See?
Great.
Okay, but it's still giving us a duplicate every 10, and that's because we're telling it to
Oh,
print
yeah,
an
it
extra number when we tell it to end the line. So I would change
So-
that.
Yeah, so
whole
we
print
take out
statement.
num.
I would not, I would take out end L
No, no,
too
no,
and
the-
replace it with /n in quotes, because we don't need to flush the buffer every time we're printing a new
Yeah, and
line.
delete no. Yeah, but I would also delete. So so you see how you're printing that.
Yeah,
slash
delete
n?
num.
I would also delete the num in front of it.
Yeah, because it's gonna print the, if you look, it's going like
Here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, above it.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
This num?
That one
19,
exactly.
20,
Yeah, that one.
20.
So
So
delete
just
it, and then
delete
you
that
also
num and then
delete
one
that
of the
too.
bitwise operators. Yeah,
Perfect.
that should work.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying in the beginning.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, don't apologize. You're fine.
There we go.
Scroll up to the first line. Yeah, take a look at that. You only have 9 integers in the first line there.
So
Don't you?
now we can tackle that issue. If you put it to 1 though, like try putting it to 1 now that we have that other issue fixed.
Yeah, now it should be fixed. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Is that other thing that was causing the issue?
Yeah, but now we do
And
have.
are we getting a comma after 100 right now?
No.
we're
No.
not. Okay, good. Then we're fine. Now what?
Just for
Right.
convention, I think you could put a tab after the C out with the \n
Or before it.
into the if.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, yeah. I think that works, doesn't it? It was this a fun experience? All of you, a lot of you coded together, and that was fantastic to watch. But I don't know. You guys had a good experience doing that? Was that
Yeah.
fun? Fantastic. And it's all indented properly. There's one more way to don't kill it, Darshana, yet. Okay. You're tossing around ideas. Should n start at 0 or 1 and things like that. Num ends. Yeah. Okay. All right. So well, equal 0 or equal 1, right? So there's one more way to do this. It's just this is correct. Okay. But because you were talking about, should it be equal 0 or equals 1? Both of them will work. It's just a matter of where you put it. And so if you had an equal 0, it is still possible to produce exactly the same effect with the equal 0 test instead of equals 1 test. All right. So would someone like to take a crack at just slightly modifying this program so that it does the equal 0 test instead of an equal 1 test? Do you know what I'm talking about? Which line?
Line 20.
I mean, if some,
Yeah, line 20. Currently, you're comparing it to 1. It should be possible to have the same logic, so have the same behavior with test against 0 equals 0. So if it should be possible. So where would you put it?
so if we start num at 0 and add 1 to it anytime we're printing it. So on line 23, just and like surround num by parentheses and then add +1 inside the parentheses. And then it's going to run one more time than we want it to. So yeah, see, it's giving us one more than we want. So there's two ways we could do this, but the easiest way is to, in the for loop,
No, this
where
is
it says
still
less
correct.
than num_ints, subtract 1
Um,
from num_ints.
Hold on. No, this is still good because if you take it to look at the line below that, you're just printing the number of integers. That's not the number itself.
Right,
Like
but that's our way of handling the comma.
oh,
We
I
can
see.
solve this issue
Never
by
mind.
adding
Okay,
-1
I got
in
it.
for
Yeah.
loop. We just so on line 19, on the condition, just write -1 after num_ints, and it'll
Can
tell it
you-
just
can you-
do it
can
one
you do
fewer
that
time.
Can you do that for a constant?
Yeah, it's not actually setting it to anything. It's just saying,
This value -1.
yeah, compare it to the value -1, essentially.
Got it. Can I just suggest just one thing for like aesthetic purposes? I think like you could do a little if statement that says like if after like between the if and the C out num +1, I think you could do a little if statement that says like if num, or not inside the if though, because that would only trigger. Did you delete that line? Oh wait, no, sorry, after that C out, yeah, line 22 is perfect. If num is less than 10, then you see out a space, and that way it'll like all line up, including the top line. So after that, you just see out like on the next line, indented.
I'm kind of confused.
Um,
to?
This is gonna
Space,
print
he
a
said
space.
space, it's a space within quotes, he said.
Or
Yeah,
you
Okay.
could do char or like char C.
that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I would change the order because this is gonna print a space before the first number.
Isn't that where the oh yeah.
We might want to have it print. Do we want to have it print before the number, or do we want to have it print after the comma? Or before the comma, even. Because we should think about where we want to put this space.
I think this would be fine because, I mean, in the first case, it would add a space to the 1 and then a space after. Yeah. Oh, but except the 10. So for the 9, it would have to remove the.
Oh,
space.
num is, yeah, just set it to num is less than 9, because remember, we're starting it at 0.
Yeah.
There you go.
That looks nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Very nice, very nice. Now, the things that you've been doing here and struggling with, making sure that, the last number and the first number, okay, this is a kind of, not a bug, this is a kind of issue that you're going to be facing many, infinite number of times. It is called a corner case, okay? And it becomes more and more important the deeper you get into C++. And, CS2C, corner cases are going to be so important that if you miss a corner case, your entire program crashes. Or it just keeps looping forever and you don't know what's going on. It's corner cases, and even if you go and interview at the top software companies, once you get the logic down, what they're looking for is all right, now the logic is okay, but is the person now gone to the next level to look for the corner cases in the logic and polishing it? That's what you were doing. Okay, the corner case is where what happens at the last number, what happens at the first number, is the corners are very hard for our mental logic to work on, and so it takes a little bit more care to get that to work nicely. And so that's nice. Okay, now let me take a look. Right, now it's possible to do this. This works, okay? This logic works, but it's also possible, I think, to do this using slightly simpler logic. Yeah, it's not a great deal more simple, but it's slightly simpler. And if you like, I can just refactor this slightly to show you what you can do with fewer lines of statements, right? Fewer lines. Yes. Before Darshana hands over to the next person, who will now use set width to make each number occupy 6 spaces. Okay, so we'll do that. The next person can do that, but before she hands over, I can show you a slight reformatting. Is that okay with you guys? 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. Now, when the spec says after every 10 numbers, you're going to print the line, right? You print a new line. So we know already the last number on each line is going to be a 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on. Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
So we know that the last number is divisible by 10. Yeah? Okay, so let's leverage that fact to just rewrite this loop so that it's a lot simpler to read and understand exactly the same logic. It's going to work, but it's going to be exactly the same logic. Okay, so let's go and change the loop, the for loop to let's make that also. Where you do the arithmetic operation num plus 1, it's a bit messy. It's correct, but it's a bit messy. With experience we see that. And also it's an addition. You're going to do an addition where an addition is not necessary. Okay, and so wasted computers, CPU cycles and all. So we'll just go back to the original way of the loop, which is not conventional. It doesn't start at 0, but it starts at 1 and goes to 100. So let's put it back to num equals 1 to a num ints, not num ints minus 1. To make that 1, and num equals 1, and then just to num ints. Okay, now, and then get rid of line 20 and 20 and 21 for now. Also, and 24 also. Get all the way up to 24. Get rid of all the lines up to 24.
These?
No, you can leave the last one there. Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Right. Just do a C out number followed by a comma. Right? Comma space. No, it's not space, comma space. Yeah, Robert made that point before. Okay, semicolon at the end of the line. Right? On the next line, you know that if the number printed was a multiple of 10, you need a new line after that. Yes? They just say if num percent 10 equals 0, print new line. That's it. Nice. Yeah, put spaces around the left shift operator. Okay. Now, and then indent the C out because it belongs to the if. Okay. Now this is exactly the same logic as what you guys wrote. It's just fewer lines and fewer arithmetic operations inside loops. Anytime inside of a loop, even if it's a small loop and all, just try and make sure that you don't do any unnecessary arithmetic. Because the reason I say that is because it's a loop and you don't know if it's going to run one time or 1 million times. Yes. And so even a small operation that only takes 1 machine cycle in a loop might take 1 million machine cycles. That is wasted. So in loops, we should be extra careful not to waste any machine cycles. All right, so so this also has exactly the same effect. Is everybody happy with this so far? And so what we'll do is the next person to take over from Darshana will now use a feature. Don't kill the screen yet, Darshana, because people will be absorbing your code. Okay, looking at it now. So the next person is going to do what is called formatting of output. And formatting of, and do we still have time to experiment with plus and minus? Yeah, all right, I think we have time. Okay, good, right? So formatting of output is when we say I have something to print out, but it needs to be printed in a particular way. Now, ancient C and C++ had this function called printf, which is now making a comeback, and even in Python and other languages, you can use printf now. But printf was a very nice function to format output. We're not going to use it. Okay, we're not going to use it because the syntax for printf, all said and done, is a real mess. Okay, it's almost like another language you got to learn. And once you're totally solid on C++ and regular ways of formatting things, then you can look for, I need more power, let me look at some printf, and right then you can look at printf. Don't look at printf now. And so let's just do ordinary formatting now. Even ordinary C out gives you a great deal of power just to format. So anything you can do in printf, you can also do with plain C with plain C++. But we'll just use a simple formatting features available in C++. The next person. Okay. So by the way, num percent 10, and that should be num percent num ints per line on line 21. Yeah. On line 21, get rid of the 10.
Oh, it should be okay. Use the constant.
Num, and it'll autocomplete when you type num. Yeah, num. Yeah, the second one there. You can autocomplete. You can click the second one. Yeah, you can hit enter. It'll complete it for you. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So is everybody happy with this program so far? So this was a group effort. All of you jumped in and coded. And even the ones who weren't coding, I could see they were all looking at the screen, trying to understand what's going on. And take my word for it. Okay. All you need is just to take the opportunity to come up here and code once on screen, and then everything will sink in like 10 times faster when you're coding in front of other people. Okay. That is a very useful tip to bear in your head. So if everybody's happy with this, Darshana will take off from screen at this from here, and then the next person who wants to go next, maybe Leonardo. Leonardo, do you want to take the screen now? Okay, so Leonardo will, and so next week on Tuesday, let's do this. Okay, we'll say Sadvik, can you code on Tuesday? Okay, Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday. Kenneth, can you? Hey, Kenneth. Yeah. I'm sorry, you were here last class. I totally forgot. When I saw your hair, I could recognize your face. But when I just saw your name in a rectangle, I thought you were not here. So I called out your name a few times before and you didn't respond. So I thought you were absent.
Oh, yeah, I was a bit busy.
Yeah. So are you able to code next class? Not today. I don't think you'll have time. Maybe you will have time today. Next class, because Sadvik is before you. Leonardo's going to code now. And then Samir, Alec has coded. Andrew, you can code next class or the class after. Yes. All right. So we've got a few people lined up. That's fantastic. Okay. And then after that, we have Ashley. Nathan, are you also here now? Nathan? All right. Anyway, so Ashley, Nathan, Philip, Alexis, and Caesar. Okay. So these are people that should take up the opportunity. Okay. We don't. Here's the thing. Okay. I've found that many of my 2A students always think, well, I want to code, but I can't code right now. I'll wait for a few more weeks. Okay. Week 3, week 4, week 5. Please don't do that. Okay. Because chances like this will start running out. In the beginning, we can have more people code because they're small programs and so on. As the class progresses, we'll start coding slightly longer projects, and only one or two people get a chance each class. And also, you never know, right? So get in early and try and code all these things. Okay. So please don't put these things off and say I'm going to come in after week 7 and week 8. Right. So, all right. Thank you very much. Now, who is going to code now? I forgot. Leonardo. Yeah. Take the screen. All right. Now, how about I'll give you 5 minutes. Now I'll go and take a bio break and pee and come back. And so reproduce a program that who was Darshana, right? The program that Darshana wrote. Yeah, reproduce that, and I'll come back in like 2 minutes. Okay. And then we'll take it from there. And what we want to do is print the numbers in spaces of 5, in six spaces, right? Six space. We'll do that. And I think that's also a useful skill to have, IO manip, right? So there's an IO manipulation. So we'll include that header file at some point later, not now, and then do that.
I forgot the what other variables do we use?
There was num ints per line. That was another constant.
Is it constants?
No, it should be. Oh yeah. Ints. No. You're right. Actually, I think you might. I don't know if you can do int const too, but I think that should be right. No, I think you're right how you did it.
But I mean max num, but that could still work. Num equals 1.
Yeah.
And then just max num. You have to set max num to 100 if we're still following that.
Yeah, you do have to. I think it's called initializing. I don't. Yeah, you have to. When you do constant, you have to do it in that line. You can't do it later. So that one is 10.
Num per line.
Num per line is 10.
And forget the semicolon there. So we're just copying it, right? All right. So
yeah, so they're gonna do mod.
C out.
So yeah, though you might want to use
should put the constant num per line
as opposed to 10.
Or 10.
Is it num here?
No, that's where you're creating a new line. Yeah, exactly. Just in quotes.
Don't forget about the quotes. Yep. All right, so before the if statement, you should do cout num. And then add a comma. Just do the bitwise function and add the comma. And after delete the cout after the if statement on line 16. And after the for loop, do cout num ints and then no. Max num if since that's and then do no after max num.
Okay.
Delete line 16. Okay. Want you to choose a language for the program.
Oh, sorry, it was hiding under the camera or like the face cam stuff.
Great.
Uh,
See, this is really cool, isn't it? You guys knocked up this program in like 5 minutes or less. It's really cool. Now we can. Who is coding, by the way? Who was?
Leonardo.
I forgot who was coding. Leonardo. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Zoom should at least keep the person who's got the screen in the gallery view. Okay, so what we want to do is Leonardo is now going to try and change the output so that each number is now printed in. How did we get a space? No, hey, can you go? Oh, yeah. Okay. So there's no space in front of the one. Good. So we want to print each number in 6 spaces, right? In 6 spaces, and and I'll only introduce you to one feature of this IO manipulation library. Okay, there's a library of functions, and you can just Google for IOMANIP in C++ IO manipulation. And we'll show you all of the features available in that thing, and you can pick and choose what you want to do. I'll just show you one, okay? And so go right to the top after IO stream. We want to include one more file, and this file is going to be called IO manip, MANIP, manipulation, right? IO manip, and then put a comment on that line. Space more, and then say required to format our numbers with 6 spaces, or 6 using 6 spaces or something like that. Yeah, whatever. Okay, all right. Now all you need to do, this is all you need to do, right? So go to the where you have the cout num, yeah, on line 12. All you have to do is push in left shift. You already have left shift there. So you want to, I think it is standard colon. Actually, just say set width. Okay, SETW. And if it doesn't work, we'll have to Google to find out what the syntax is. Okay, and then within bracket 6. No, not square brackets. Parentheses, within parentheses. Okay, and then left shift number after that. Now that set width doesn't actually print anything to the screen, but it sends some control information to cout. Okay, it says control information. So the number that is coming needs to occupy 6 spaces. So it doesn't actually show up as something. It modifies what's going to come after. Now, if you run it, I think if it doesn't run, we'll have to Google. Okay, to find out. Yeah. Okay. Why does the last number screwed up?
Oh, because we need.
Oh
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
it
Put
here.
the set width there too. Yeah. Now, if you run it, you'll see what we wanted to. Leonardo got the shortest assignment today. Okay, but maybe we'll figure out more things for you to do, Leonardo, before you hand over. Okay. So now set width lets you do this, and as I said, you can use set width on strings also. You set the width of the string, and you can do more things with set width. Okay, you can print floating point numbers with saying I want to print the integer part in 5 spaces and the fractional part with 15 spaces. You can do that with set width. If you just Google, it'll tell you exactly what to do to get that. And many things you can do with the IO manipulation library, and it's not really part of the thing that we need to learn for CS2A, because in CS2A we just need to learn concepts, and set width and IO manip and things like that. They're just features. So we just want to be introduced to say, well, if you want to do this, go and look there. If you want to do this, go and look there. Okay, so set width is what you want to look for in these situations. Now, so far, what we've done, what time is it now? Well, we've got like 3 minutes, and then maybe Leonardo can do the plus minus experiments, and then we'll be done. So Sadvik, you can code next week, okay, on Tuesday. All right. So is everybody happy with what we've done so far? Good. Now, was this all useful? Was this all useful? Because I know that we stepped back and scaled back and said we're going to do simpler stuff today, but I want to make sure that the people who were potentially struggling to keep up are also on board the bus. Okay, and not that we're going to pick up pace to like that before. We'll still do regular pace, but we'll keep marching forward, and I'll still make sure that we'll cover every single topic that is required for you to know before you go on to 2B, right? And I'm not a great fan of I'm not a great fan of being a teacher who says, here's what you need to know to pass the exams, and then you can forget about everything. Okay, because I get a lot of students like that in my 2B and 2C. I get a lot of students who've passed 2A, and some of them have got A+ in 2A, and then in 2B they struggle. And they can't handle it, and they drop. And right now my 2B enrollment is like rock bottom. Like 5 or 6 students in my 2B class. This is, I've never had that few students in my 2B, and a lot of students I found were just came in saying, oh, I can get another A in 2B just like I got in 2A. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so I'm not a fan of just pushing you through the door. All right, you came in here. This is what you need. Get out. Okay, that doesn't make anything. It doesn't do anything for me. So I will make sure that we cover every single thing in the syllabus and in the CID, and you're comfortable with everything, so that when you go to 2B, whether it's my section or someone else's section, doesn't matter. When you go to 2B, you'll be totally prepared. Okay, and you'll basically say, lay it out, man. I can pick it up. Right. So because a lot of students who go to the higher classes, they're approach it with a little bit of trepidation initially, saying, oh, I don't know what's going to happen here, complex stuff. No, when you go in, you should say, I know, right, I'm ready to take it, give it to me, and so I'll make sure you're there. Okay, so here's what we want to do now. Get rid of the whole program and write a very simple main, and we're going to write a function, right? Very simple main, and do the standard thing. Okay, and do it quickly, and again, you're going to be doing this really fast eventually, because it's going to be practice. Just the initial part, just do, and it's only going to take 5 minutes. Okay, please, it's going to, even if it's slightly past 9:50, I know Nemo and some of the other students have to leave at 9:50 for their next class. Just hang in for 2 more minutes. Okay, and then he should be done. All right, so here, let's create a function above main, right? A function above main that's going to return a value. Okay, so you say int add 1. Okay, add 1. Okay, add 1. Yeah, thank you. And then it's going to take an integer number as a parameter, int n. Okay, now inside this function, you're going to say inside this function, you're going to say, inside this function, you're going to say cout. Cout, we shouldn't call the function add one, okay? In fact, we should call it print number. Okay, don't call it add one, call it print number. Print number. Okay, and then print n. Print Cout, yeah, Cout n and L. No, n, the variable n.
Oh.
Right, now go to main. Returns just return and then get rid of the int. Make it void. Okay, make it void. That function should be void. Doesn't return anything. Void. Yeah. Void.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So in main, you're going to call that function now and say print number. Just give it 5. The number 5. And what is it going to do? So run it now. Run it really quickly and make sure it says 5. Says 5. Yes, good so far. Okay, now in your int main, declare a variable called m or a or something like that. So the first line of main, yeah, int a. Yeah, semicolon. Now here you want to say print a plus plus. Print a plus plus. No, where you have print n? Where you have print n? Oh, print 5. Print number 5. You can put the blank line back again. Blank line back again after. Yeah. Right now, so there's here are the experiments. Okay, and you should run more of these experiments yourself. Oh, and by the way, int a equals I don't know 5. Yeah, well, any number you want. Okay. Now, what is it going to print? What is the number going to print? Now, before you run it, you got to run it in your head and take a guess, saying this is what it's going to print. And then after you've seen the output, ponder to say, is that right? And then change the a plus plus to plus plus a and see what happens. Okay. And then you try minus minus a and a minus minus. See the difference. Okay. Difference. And you'll see what's going on. And then you can also experiment more in your own time. In your Cout statement, you can say Cout plus plus n or Cout n plus plus. 2 different things. And you can see what the difference is. And you'll also see that, even though it's different here, in a for statement, I use I plus plus at the end and plus plus I at the end. It's the same. No difference at all. Whereas here, there's a difference. Now, those are all juicy tidbits for discussion. Okay. And so these are things that you can talk about in the forum. Like the tips that Samir has been posting and you guys have been talking about. Ashley's been posting some tips too. Where's Ashley? Yeah. Right. So, and you can say, hey, you know what? What's the difference between n plus plus and plus plus n? In this context, n plus plus does this, where plus plus n does something different. And that's why it does it differently. So when you call a function and pass n plus plus, whereas plus plus n, something else happens, right? And this is what's happening. So try and figure out, so look at the behavior of the program with plus plus on this side, plus plus on that side. Try and figure out why it's different. Okay, and explain it. And that's a very nice Reddit post for you. Yes? Okay, now, so run this. Well, no, before you run it, what is it going to print? What is it going to print?
Well, I assume 6 because it's going to add 1 to 5. And then
all right, before you run it, who else wants to take a guess? Everybody should take a guess, okay? And then he runs it and we can see. Will print 5?
Yeah.
So yeah, Leonardo says 6, Nemo says 5. Who else? Thomas? 5?
Yeah, I said 5.
Okay, all right, run it. That's 5. Okay. So it didn't print 6. Leonardo said 6. However, we can get it to print 6 if he just takes the plus plus and puts it on this side. Why? Okay. So now we're out of time. And we actually covered all the things that we wanted to talk about. And thank you for sticking around. Nemo or whoever it is has to go, right? So thank you all. So I hope this was a useful class. And so please ponder the plus plus, this side and that side, what the difference is and so on, because it's very useful when it comes to looping. When you do while loops and so on, plus plus, it's very important to know exactly what happens. I don't know if plus plus is in Python, but maybe they took it away for that reason. Certainly it's a very useful operator and it's a very fast and efficient operator. Plus plus and minus minus at the CPU level is just a 1 instruction, bam, like that, right? Because if you say a equals a plus 1, it's not 1 instruction. Well, the compiler may optimize it into 1 instruction, but technically it's not 1 instruction, right? If you say a equals a plus 1, A has to be loaded into the accumulator, 1 has to be loaded into register, plus has to be called, and so it's a whole lot of instructions for A equals A plus 1. But A plus plus is one instruction at the CPU level. It's just increment, bam, right? So well, you don't have to worry about these things, because even if you don't do it this way, the compiler will automatically fix it for you. But it's easier to read this way for many people. That's why. Okay. So I hope this was a useful class, and we talked about a few interesting and useful features. Next class, what we'll do is we'll just take that to the next level. And what are we supposed to do next class? Week 5. Yeah, we'll do more functions. Okay. And in fact, we already started talking about functions. So next class, we'll talk about more of these functions and how these loops and functions can work with each other. Okay. And there's different ways in which you can pass parameters to functions: const parameters, reference parameters, copy parameters. All of these is really juicy and useful. Right? Not just useful and for the exam's point of view, it's very useful, because later on when you're developing a massive project, okay, when you're developing a game like Fortnite or something like that, and you say, well, I want to do this, and you'll say, well, how do I do this? And you'll know, because you've done this before. Yeah. And so that's why it's also useful. And a lot of people don't get a chance to do these things in school, in class, like this, and they only have to discover these things after they start working professionally. Shouldn't be the case like that. Okay, all of these you can actually discover in class, and by the time you're ready to work out there, you'll actually know. Right? Thank you all. I hope this was a useful class and a useful week, and yeah, right, and I hope to see all of you again next week on Tuesday. And have a fantastic weekend. Keep coding, right? From now on, you got to keep on coding until the end of the quarter. Okay, and you'll actually be so glad and so super duper happy with yourself for having done that. At the end, you won't be so happy with yourself when you're doing it, right? When you're frustrated and saying, tearing your hair out. Okay, I don't have any hair out because all my hair has been thrown out already. Okay, but when you're tearing your hair out, it doesn't look so fun. But at the end, you'll say, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I tore all my hair out. Okay, now you can grow hair for the rest of your life. Okay, so good. Thank you. Have a great weekend. See you later. Bye.